Today is the 137th birthday of perhaps the biggest Hindi and Urdu social fiction writer ever existed in the history of Indian writing. Yes, Munshi Premchand, a name that towers above the rest, certainly comes to minds of all, even those who haven't read any of his works, because his name itself is folklore. Munshi Premchand, who was born on July 31, 1880 in Lamahi near Benares, wrote over 300 stories and novels, and not one of his works is socially irrelevant despite India coming of ages since 1920 and 30s when most of his works were penned down. Famous people, whether it's the collection of his 250 or so short stories in Manasarovar or the works he wrote in Urdu, Premchand's writing always transcended beyond the petty concerns of being Hindu or Muslim and talked about ills of the society as a whole, though it would be an injustice to rank his works, since it's impossible to submerge his writing in one article. We are trying to accommodate 10 of his masterpieces. Set in 1930, this masterpiece by Premchand talks about the unity of Hindus and Muslim and their exploitation by the British, which eventually resulted in partition much later. Karma Bhumi champions the cause of Gandhian theory of peace and ahimsa and talks social change, sacrifice, clash of ideology and nature of human beings. Karma Bhumi defined dharma for the contemporary reader of those days and urged him to know the difference between real and superficial acts of religion. Who hasn't come across the reference of this short story? A masterpiece that's yet to fade from the memory of time. Through the father-son duo of Gisu and Madhav, Premchand talks about people who don't work to earn a living and always play helplessness as an excuse for their endless failures. YouTube. The tale reaches heights of irresponsibility and human shamelessness when the father-son try to justify spending the money that they had borrowed to buy a kafan shroud for Gisu's dead wife on drinks and food. Greed knows no bounds and we all know it, yet most of us are greedy. Munshi Premchand in this classic talks about the insatiable hunger for jewels, which not only makes one greedy but also moral and socially corrupt, and that due to the levels beyond imagining. Gaban. Copyright Cedar Books. Gaban is a simple story that talks about a person who strives to fulfill his wife's endless urge to acquire jewels. Through the story, Premchand tries to portray the socio-economic problems faced by men and women in Indian hinterland.